Hello, everyone. This is Rick, and welcome to Astral Club. Today's video is going to be weird astral projection aids. I know the title sounds a little clickbaity, but there's some interesting techniques here that you can try. And most of them are affordable. If you've been having some trouble astral projecting, or if you'd like to try some extra aids or helps that can maybe get you over that hump to astral project. So let's get into it. Now, as most of these I have tried or had some reliable information about it sometime or other, but some of them are even new to me. So we'll kind of learn together. The first one is very familiar to me. It is Hemi. Hemi was developed, it's a technology that was developed by the Monroe Institute. And I remember when I attended the Institute for some courses in the mid 80s, Hemi was still being experimented with. And I recall they had these big honking headphones that people had to wear as they were trying out the technology. And what it is it consists of binaural sound technology in which a constant sound frequency is played in each ear individually, which is why you need headphones. This causes the brain to naturally respond to the rhythm caused by the slight frequency difference between the two. I could have a whole video just on Hemi, but today you can find free videos on YouTube, or you can buy CDs on the Monroe Institute site or on Amazon, and they go for around $15 to $20. You need a good pair of headphones, though, to do it, because you need to have that small signal difference in the ears for it to work properly. So I used this, like I said, and I was there when they were pioneering it, and it did help me on a couple different astral projections, as I recall. Another, and by the way, I'm not getting paid anything by the Monroe Institute. I just think they're great people. Another thing for people who have deeper pockets is their gateway program, and that goes for $2,195, and it's a 5-day, 6-night intensive in Faber, Virginia. And they take you through the whole theory of out of the body experiences, right through to a variety of methods and Hemi and a variety of other techniques to astral project. It's a beautiful, very pastoral area. It's lovely. And very rural. So if that's something that is in your budget, you can always give that a shot and just go on the Monroe Institute site, and you got to make reservations, and yeah, you get a semi-private room, and it's the food's pretty healthy, and there's walks that you can take in between classes, and it's a very relaxing experience if that's something that you're interested in, either now or in the future. Now, the next way to astral project is a little bit more controversial, and I have to be extremely careful because our Lord and Masters on the tube are very, very strict when it comes to using some of these words. Chemical ways to induce astral projection or out of the body experiences. Dissociative hallucinogens are one of the ways that you can do that. Most of these, well, I'm not going to mention the names of any of them. Look up that topic, and you can see it for yourself. Now, one of the more exotic substances that falls under this umbrella is ayahuasca. And this is a South American substance that is made from the Psychotria verdis shrub and stalks of the Banistertopius copy vine. That's really tough. At any rate, it's this substance that is ingested by people who are interested in this hallucinogenic experience. There are retreats, once again, for people with deeper pockets that are offered in Costa Rica and Peru. They're anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 US dollars. And the $3,000 one was a 14-day intensive where you get meals and 6 ayahuasca ceremonies. And it's one way to experiment with altered states that could very well induce an astral projection. It's something that I'm actually kind of interested in. If there was some way I could induce my wife to take part as well, it might be something that would be an interesting vacation. However, as a caution, anytime you ingest substances that have psychoactive, hallucinogenic, or other effects on the body, there's always an inherent danger, so you have to keep that in mind. And that's something that everyone has to do research on and decide whether it's right for them or not. They do not provide dinners for 6 of the nights. And if you were paying attention, you might be able to put a couple things together, because they also had 6 ayahuasca ceremonies. The reason you don't get dinner is because the brew of these plants pretty much causes your stomach to do the funky chicken. So if you ate dinner, all that would be is extra ammunition. It causes severe nausea. And so vomiting is certainly a part of the process. It's if you're really interested in exploring that end of things, there's an investment, and there's also a willingness to undergo a certain amount of physical discomfort in order to have this type of experience and perhaps induce an astral projection. A couple substances which are available on Amazon are Mugwort, which I bought a little while ago and I experimented with. So far, all it's done really is make my dreams a little bit more vivid. A little warning, if you have a sensitive stomach, make sure you eat yogurt or something like that before you take it, because I know it upset my stomach when I took it on an empty stomach. There's also, of course, galantamine, which I have mentioned previously as a supplement, which did actually help me astral project, although it also raised my blood pressure, so I couldn't take it because I have blood pressure issues. However, if you don't have that problem, that's something that you can do. The Mugwort, as I recall, cost around $20 for a bunch of pills. The galantamine's a little bit more pricey. You get around 30 pills or so, and it costs around $35. But these are some substances that you can use. Now, going back to the slightly more controversial type of substances, we have an entheogen. And I can't say its name. However, Miley Cyrus back in 2010 smoked this particular entheogen, and it caused a big scandal. So if you may know now what I'm talking about. If not, Google it and you'll see the name of the substance. It's extremely short-lived. I have not partaken myself. However, I have a friend who has, and he had a little mini experience on this particular substance, which was very, very interesting. Getting away from our more controversial techniques to astral project, There is the vibrating bed. Now, when I was a kid, there was things called magic fingers, and you put a quarter or 50 cents into a bed. It usually was down at the seashore, and the thing would vibrate. And just as a kid, you would think that was so cool. Um, I had a bed that went up and down as well as would vibrate because I have lower back problems, and that's why I bought it. However, I did notice that a couple times when I used it, it kicked in the vibratory phase. Now, I don't know if it worked like that for me because I'd been astral projecting for so long that the feeling just stimulated the vibratory phase. I don't know if it would work for somebody who is new to the experience. And the cost of a bed like this is fairly substantial. So I'm not saying you should go out and purchase it in hopes of astral projecting. However, if you have a bad lower back and you have the money, who knows? You might actually be able to use it to leave your body. The next technique is magnetic stimulation of the brain's temporal lobes. There was a helmet that was developed by a scientist, Michael Persinger, and he found that a low magnetic field would stimulate the brain's temporal lobes. And of course, the stimulation of these lobes, it has a direct connection with the phenomena of astral projection. Now, I don't know if there's anywhere you can buy the helmet. I saw it in a science article. However, there are things on Amazon, for instance, that is available for a fairly low cost that you could experiment with if you were feeling, daring. There's one that's called the Pro Magnetic Headband. It's on Amazon for $34.75. It has a variety of very strong rare earth magnets all throughout it, and it's meant to alleviate neck aches and headaches. So it's not specifically designed for any type of an astral projection experience, but if you wanted to experiment with perhaps that strong magnetic fields, you could always take that headache remedy and try it out for astral projection purposes. So give it a shot. It's fairly low cost, and let us know. Now, the next one I tried out many years ago in Philadelphia, and it was a lot of fun, and it did help me astral project. It's called sensory deprivation. And the basic science is if you can remove all of the stimulus that the brain is constantly bombarded with, you can create an altered state. In this particular instance, I went into a company that had these egg-shaped chambers. The top would come off, and in there you would see water. But it was different than your average water because it had a huge amount of Epsom salts in it. Now, when I was doing my research again, I saw that some of these float chambers has as much as 800 pounds of Epsom salts, which is about 363 kilos for our metric friends. And the temperature of the water is kept at 93.5 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 34 C in the centigrade scale. It's designed to basically, I think, make you feel like you're a fetus again, because of all those Epsom salts, you can lay back on the water and you are supported. You'll just float there. What they do then is they lower the lid, and you are floating in this pitch dark chamber. As I recall, back then I had the option of soothing music. I said no, I want, the absolute quiet associated with this experience. So I recall floating there, and I don't remember exactly how long the experience lasted. It had to be around 45 minutes though. Although when I was floating in there, I experienced a variety of colors and shapes, and I actually projected outside of the container. I didn't get really far. I just kind of floated outside. But it did help me to astral project. It's a very interesting experience. And, I did some research on them in my area. They're pretty much everywhere nowadays. For anywhere around $75 or so, you can get, a period of time to experience this. And if nothing else, it'll certainly be an interesting experience. And who knows, it might actually help you to astral project. Lastly, we have the mask. Now, when I first tried these out back in I think it was the late 90s, the technology was still fairly expensive and fairly primitive. Today, there are many of these masks, and the one that I tried was called the Nova Dreamer. And it was put out by the Lucidity Institute, which is an organization that promotes lucid dreaming. Now, we know that you can astral project from the lucid dreaming state fairly easily, simply by realizing that you're dreaming and then concentrating on leaving the body. If that doesn't work, jump off the nearest cliff and wish to leave your body. Any type of sensation of falling, we've learned, helps you to actually astral project. This Nova Dreamer worked in a very interesting way. It sensed, first of all, it was like a light mask. It was powered by I think a AAA battery, as I recall. And it had sensors. It would detect when you were dreaming, because when you're dreaming, you go through rapid eye movement, and that's what it detected. When it did that, it would flash red lights, and there'd be a little bit of a buzzing sound. And the whole idea behind it was that you would train yourself, and this would require a number of meditations, to realize that when you are dreaming and you see, or when you're experiencing, let me put it to you that way, and you see these flashing red lights, when you hear that sound, that will wake up your conscious mind, and you'll realize, wow, I'm dreaming. So now you can go off and do a lucid dream, or you can decide that you wish to astral project. Way back then, I think I spent $300 or $400 for this mask. Now, today, the Nova Dreamer is no longer available. They don't make it any longer, but you can sometimes find used ones on Amazon or on eBay. However, I did go to the site, and they said there's a new one they're in the process of making. So perhaps go there on the Lucidity Institute Nova Dreamer site and sign up there for a notification when they have it available. Now, if you want to try other lucid dreaming masks, just put that information into eBay or into Amazon, and you'll come up with a wide variety of masks. Some of the more cheaper alternatives, they go for $35 to $50. They don't have sensors that detect REM. It just makes the light, and I think there's sound too, that it flashes at intervals that it has determined are the typical intervals for dream sleep. I'm not a big fan of that type of technology. I don't think it would work. But, if you had a little bit of money burning a hole in your pocket and you didn't want to spend too much, I guess you could try that out. And there's a variety of other masks as well that operate under similar types of technology. You can do the research yourself. The one that I had the personal experience with was the one that I've been talking about. So these are some of the methods, some of the aids that you can try Some of them are a little out of the ordinary than others that can help you to astral project. If you have luck with any of them, please let us know. At any rate, if you enjoy this, please hit the like button, share it with those of like mind, subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, smash that bell button so you'll get notifications whenever I post a new video. Comment, because I love getting your comments and responding to them. And as always, I'm Rick, and I will see you on the astral plane.